anything's, yeah, I'll jump in. You know, if I see an opportunity, but the chat should have a ton of ton of comments and people coming in to talk.
Okay, cool. Cool.
So let's see here. Man, I got to tell you, we've only got a minute here before we go live. Oh crap! I need to hit Tanner up with the link. Here we go. But before we go live, dude, yeah, it's been pretty cool. We talked to Precedent the other day, so we went and presented to all of those guys. I don't know if you know, it's like Ryan Smith and Jeff Curl and.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It's kind of like their little seed fund that they're doing.
Their little seed fund. So I'll have to tell you when we connect, but we're live. So let me get the jams pumping while folks roll in. Say what you want, but I won't ever be told. 'Cause I'm in love with a monster. When say I'm stupid, I'm out of my mind. But without you, boy, I'd be bored of the same. No, I don't really care for the same conversation. Got everything I need, and I'd rather be chasing love with a monster. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with a monster. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with a monster. I'm in love with a monster. Wrap me a leg before you wrap me a lace. We break the rules like we're changing the game. He's trying it all and he's taking me out. Say what you want, but I won't ever be told. I'm in love with the monster. My daddy told me I should have better taste, but I'd rather pay to see the look on his face. No, I don't really care for the lame conversation. Got everything I need, and I'd rather be chasing love with the monster. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with the monster. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love with the monster. I'm in love with the monster. See that you tried and don't be getting love from me. Ain't one time, 'cause I just don't get enough from me. Leave it to me, don't you see I'll run from it better. Hey, 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 hey. You make me crazy, but I love it, baby. You make me crazy, baby, but I love it, baby. You make me crazy, but I love it. You make me crazy, baby, but I'm in love with the monster. Everybody now. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Everybody loves a monster. Did you know? All right, I'm going to cap the music right there. I've been playing Russian roulette with the music today because I haven't listened to any of these tracks before. I just play them. It's suggested songs on my Spotify. So hope you like it, everyone. If you're just joining in, go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments and tell us where you're tuning in from. Suzanne, it is so good to hear from you again. Suzanne's tuning in from Draper, Utah. And we've got Michael Bade from San Marcos, Texas. It is good to have you here, Michael. For everyone who's watching, cool little tidbit about Michael. He's an opera singer turned coder. This is the coolest story that I've ever heard. And then we got Tim Gould here coming in from New York City. Bit of a bummer. It's a gloomy day there. Well, it's kind of a gloomy day here in Utah too. So it's that time of year. I don't know about you guys, but we've already started pumping all of the Christmas jams in the Markey household. So that's just how it goes. Smita, good to have you here again, coming in from Sunnyvale. So this is a cool story. We got Tanner here on the line with us. He is a co-founder at Spiff, and is actually a personal friend of mine. Tanner stayed just down the road from me, a town over from Sunnyvale in Mountain View. So Smita, you'd know Mountain View, and his background there, if anyone can guess. Let's see. Actually, I'm not even going to tell anyone. If you can guess, Smita, what street in the Bay Area that is, I will give you 10 very cool points. But they're not worth anything. So, Cynthia, what's going on from New York City? Cynthia is awesome. It's good to have you here. Well, it's cool. While that answer is coming in for where that street is, if you guys can figure it out, I'll tell you later. I want to introduce Tanner. Tanner is a co-founder at Spiff, and Spiff is growing like absolute crazy. I'll let him tell you a little bit more about this. They just recently went through a round of funding. And their product is sound. I actually, funny enough, went and helped them out with a trade show at one stage, and people were literally walking up to our booth and saying, "Please give me your product." So it is catching on like wildfire, and there's some really exciting stuff happening. So, without further ado, Tanner, take it away.
Sweet. And Luke, I can't believe that's like a year ago.
Yeah.
When you were saying that. So Luke, the story there is, we sponsored Dreamforce last year, and my entire team ditched me. And so it was like just me that was supposed to be there. So Luke came to the rescue and helped us tear down, and got some free swag out of it. I think he walked out with like a hammock and a whole bunch of free food. And
I have a sweet T-shirt that I still wear. Logo is rad. I just walk around. It's that old S, that it's all colorful. It's sweet. It's great.
Classic. Yeah. So, I mean, thanks for having me, man. I figured you'd like this picture behind me, a little nostalgia for you, but super excited to be here. For everyone here, let me move things around so I can see the chats too. But for everyone here, been a big Mentorly fan since day one. Like I said, good friends with Luke and his family, and it's been awesome to kind of see the growth over the last, almost year and a half now. So anyways, and then it looks like Smita got it, by the way. I probably said your name wrong, so if I did, I'm sorry, but Castro Street is the jam. So a little teeny bit about me, and then we'll kind of actually dive into Spiff and kind of what we have. And it's good timing. We actually have more than 10 open job recs right now. So it's great timing. But just a little background on me. Tanner Lacey, I've got married with 2 little boys. They're insane. Our Luke's kids and my kids used to duke it out all the time. And we it's like we just moved to South Jordan, Utah. So we actually were in Mountain View for about a year. And then with COVID, paying that much rent for my 2-bedroom apartment wasn't quite as enticing anymore. So we ended up moving back, and we'll kind of see where things take us as COVID continues to go crazy. So a little background on my career is, went to Utah Valley University, wanted to be a consultant, had one of my friends, his name's Jaron Paul, who has helped me with my consulting interviews. And then from there, he said, "Hey, I'm starting this startup thing called Spiff. Would you be interested? I kind of need someone to join," because he was in the middle of an exit. And so I was like, "Yeah, just that sounds cool. We'll talk about let's talk about it." So everything from there is history. We started Spiff. I was full-time employee number 1. We had our CTO just a couple of weeks after me. And then between kind of the whole group, we had we now have close to 60 employees kind of throughout the country. A lot of people in Salt Lake City, but throughout we have people in New York, people in DC, people in Washington, California, obviously as well. So all over the place. But it's been a lot of fun. So like Luke said, we've raised a decent chunk of money. We've raised at this point almost $20 million recently in a Series A. We're growing like crazy, about 1,500% over the last 7 months. So we're really excited about that. It's crazy being part of a company where it used to just be me working in I wasn't the CEO, obviously was the brain. It was his brainchild, but there was a time when it was just me and one other person who were full time. So it's been a lot of fun. I did prep this like deck here, just kind of give you guys an idea of what Spiff is, but then I want to spend most of the time talking about like what our culture is, and what jobs we have open, and then fielding questions about those jobs and those roles. Luke, are you okay if I share my screen? I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yeah, you bet. You got it.
All right, so let me move my Zoom windows around here. Let's go ahead and present this. So put together just a pretty quick little presentation deck about like kind of Spiff's background here and kind of like what we're so proud about. Our mission statement is that Spiff believes people are happiest when they are motivated and successful. Right? Spiff is on a mission to drive motivation and success through effective, real-time, data-driven commission software. So in our heart, we're a commission software, right? We are, go back here. What we're doing is we're hooking into people's systems, pulling in the commission data and presenting that in real time to both finance and sales teams. So sales reps can see what they're earning on commissions real time, and finance teams don't have to do it inside Excel. For anyone here who has ever been in part of that process, it's a pain, no matter where you're at. Like I know Luke was at LinkedIn before, and we talked about how much of a pain it was there. Some of our customers have thousands of sales reps, and they're still doing things on spreadsheets and in BI tools. So we're really excited about the market. We've had a lot of fun trying to innovate it. There's some older players here in the space who have built a good business, but they're old and enterprisey, and we're innovating. So it's been a lot of fun. We're really big on like just our customers, right? So you guys can see we've been the leader in the G2. For any of you guys who don't know what G2 is, it's kind of the go-to for reviews. It's kind of like the Yelp or TripAdvisor for hotels and restaurants. But it's been a lot of fun to kind of see our company grow into the spot of a leader in the market. So we're also awarded one of the easiest to use. And the one that we're most proud of right now is this momentum leader. So you'll see we've been it twice now. We've been the momentum leader for the last about 6 months. And we're hoping to three-peat that here this quarter. But what it's saying there is that we're growing faster and in the right direction more than any other solution in the marketplace. So here's just like a handful of a few of our customers, right? Hopefully, especially depending where you're at, you're going to recognize some of these customers. We have amazing customers. We love our customers, like excited. And there's a couple real big ones here that we're excited to add that we're just in final contract negotiations with that are gonna have to make us have a really nice quarter this quarter. So this is just the start. We're growing and really excited about where we're headed. So kind of transitioning here, and I'm gonna exit out of my presentation mode on this, but we're growing like crazy. We can't even keep up on it. We had 8 people start this week, and we still have. I know that right here I only have six points, but so between solution architects and backend engineers, we're hiring both back-end and front-end engineers. And then we're hiring 3 different levels of solution architects right now. Some of them contract, some of them full-time. And then you'll kind of see these other ones here as well. So let's actually I figured for this, we might as well just kind of actually hop into what we use Workable for our site. One day we'll grow up and build our own career site here, but we'll make sure that you guys all get a link to this. But here's all of our openings. So what we've got now, the one that's most recent is a sales operations manager, who's going to be kind of leading the charge of enabling the sales team when it comes to systems. So very much in charge of helping with Salesforce, helping out with our different tools like Outreach and Zoom and whatever else we're using for the sales team. And that would report directly up to our COO. And it's an amazing opportunity for those of you who don't know a lot about sales operations, but you like systems and you kind of like sales. It's a really good way to stay involved in both sides. The sales systems engineer, I actually don't know what that one is. I didn't have time to look at it, but This one is similar. So this one is actually going to be assisting in, thank you for bearing with me as I read through it. This will actually be assisting with the sales operations manager to actually get our systems running. So more than the sales operations manager is going to be a lot more strategic, where the sales systems engineer is going to be very much working with the integrations, building them out, helping us identify the right tools. We have, you guys can see here that we have some big initiatives like identifying and implementing a CPQ solution here soon, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The team's awesome. Our COO is one of a kind. This is going to be his, he just exited out of a company called CapShare, same as our CEO. They started and sold that to Morgan Stanley, and so it's a great group of people to be working with. And then kind of a little more generic, right? Back end, front engineers. Our engineering team is amazing. Our CTO, his name is Mike Reese. He's, for anyone who is an engineer in the Utah area, you probably know Mike. He helps write a lot of the courses on Pluralsight and some of those other things. He's a very like renowned Ruby engineer. And then we do a lot of our stuff in Ruby and Elixir. For anyone who's interested in Elixir, it's kind of a fun language to be learning. And then front end, we're using your general React type of thing, Java, pretty standard there. But Casey leads our front end team, and we are hiring for that as well, at least one person. We are very hungry to get a good content writer inside of Spiff. So anyone who is writing content or working with your marketing teams to produce content, that could be a great fit for you. And then solutions architects are the ones who are actually doing the implementation. So you'll notice that these are all remote. First off, most of our positions can be remote. There's a few that are where we might be a little bit more biased towards having someone in Utah once we do go back to an actual office. But for the most part, we're completely open to remote work, especially for these architect roles and the engineering roles. So what these solution architects are doing is after we close a customer and they're interfacing with CS or our CSMs, they're going to be helping implement that customer. So it's a really nice mix of, it's not coding, it's very much, it's more like Excel or kind of a data language where you're actually interfacing with the customer and then helping them get set up and run on the system. Really, really satisfying job. It's really like a cool opportunity to be like customer facing, but also be able to build, which is pretty rare. And then we have a support. We're hiring a support engineer, someone to assist the CSM team as far as support and managing our customers. So, and then so we actually, these two are a little bit outdated. We are still hiring for more CSMs, client success managers. So if you're interested in customer success or account management, that could be a great one for you. Carolyn Passy is our head of CS, and she's amazing. She was the VP of customer success at Instructure previous to this. Really talented and just a great person to be working with. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to flip back to the comments section here. And this, I mean, Luke, from here, should we just kind of move to a Q&A? What's the best way for me to kind of add value here for the group?
Yeah, this is great. I think for those of you who are on chat, go ahead and start posting your questions. This is a great time to post. And I'll just remind everyone, questions. If you're on chat there, go ahead and post those. But I'll get things kicked off for right now. You know, something that everyone is really curious about, Tanner, with things going remote, and obviously Spiff, a lot of the workforce is remote right now. What is the culture like remote? Are you going to get support? I mean, it's a startup, but do you have to be kind of like self-sufficient, or are you guys doing activities still as a team? Like talk about all of those things.
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're pretty big on, we do 3 all hands meetings a week right now. So not all of those are required, but I mean, really none of them are required. You'll see a lot of people, especially at our Monday all hands. We do a show and tell on Wednesdays. I'm going to be honest. I am not the world's greatest attendee to the show and tell, but it is cool, especially as you're getting to meet people. What we do is someone will kind of tell themselves, like do a little slideshow on themselves and their family and kind of who they are. So I should be a better teammate that way, but life's busy, right? So, and then we do on Fridays, we do what's called Demo Friday, where the product and engineering team will demo out new pieces of the product for the team to see. So we do focus a lot on that. Your managers, like I currently help run the, I guess I haven't even told you guys what I do. I'm the director of business development right now at Spiff, but I also run our sales engineers. And so I interface twice a week with my sales engineers as a team. And then I'm with them at least pretty much with each one of them at least once a day, whether it's over Slack or Zoom or helping them on a call. So yeah, we're really big on that. We use a lot of Slack and Zoom to stay kind of connected with each other, and we're always trying to innovate there.
This is amazing. The questions are pumping in here, so I'll get to those in a minute. But I'll ask one last question before we get to some of these others. Tell us about, like, if somebody jumped onto the team, like what is Spiff from a business perspective focused on right now? Like what are your goals at the moment?
Yeah, so right now we're really focusing on moving up market, right? So a lot of our customers that you'll notice are kind of like SMB mid-market customers, and we really have a goal to go to enterprise. So what that entails is just like we're working on a lot of integrations, we're working on a lot of partnerships, and we're really trying to grow into like a real company is probably not the way to say it, but like we at this point are going to have, like, after we fill these jobs, we're going to have close to 75 people, right? So it's also a lot about just getting systems and processes in place to scale. But we're all about delighting our customer and our prospects. Like, we're obsessed with it. We've invested a lot in design, a lot in our CS program, and just how our app looks and feels to scale, but also to be easy to use. So it was kind of like a roundabout answer there for you, but like I think that's kind of like what we're focusing on right now.
Yeah, love that. This is really helpful. The next question is from Smita. What's up, Smita? Are there multiple positions for the engineering openings?
Yes, there are. So we have at least one front end and two back end positions open right now, and we're continuing to think if we open up more on both sides of that.
Nice. And I anticipate that will probably grow, right? As time goes on, the engineering team is always hiring.
Yep. Yeah. We will. That'll be some spot that we almost always have an open job opening.
That's great. Good news for you, Smita. Cynthia Jensen asked for customer success position. Who did you say could give us more info?
Yeah. So the customer success position is very account management like. I'm happy to kind of give just a little bit of an overview there. So you're going to be in Salesforce, working on Salesforce as kind of your CRM. But what you're doing is you have named accounts. So depending on how many accounts, we divide it evenly between the CSMs. We do territories. And at that point, you're going to be focusing on making sure they're happy, checking in with them, and also helping them with the app, right? So if they need to make small changes or they have questions, you're kind of the front line there. Obviously, you have solutions engineers to back you up, and we train you on the platform. But it's going to be a pretty, I think, account management success. We call it CSMs, right? It's kind of what I would say. It's you build a pretty personal relationship with your customers, and you're their first line of defense.
This is great. And then Cynthia Frankie asks, what is the interview process for software engineers? How many rounds? What kind of technical assessments, and so on?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and it really depends on kind of what we're hiring for. Our backend is probably going to want to pair with you, as far as like seeing how you code. They probably want to see some things you've worked on in the past that you can share. I would say rounds. We're not quite as formal as that yet. We kind of look for the right people, and then just make sure we get them in front of the right people to feel comfortable with it. And we do like a lot of. We will check like references and things. Our CTO is pretty thorough about that. On the front end, sometimes they'll want to work on a project with you, or they'll want to see you kind of like in action. So similar to pairing, right? Front end is interesting where it might not be quite as easy to pair. But we don't have any like specific assessments, or like, again, even like a specific process that we go through, but it's pretty generally going to be interview, pairing, or kind of like a small walkthrough or display, and then kind of continuing the conversation from there.
That's great. And I'm going to get to some of these others. There's just great questions coming through. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and post a question in the chat. We'll get to them in a second. But what gets me excited most about Spiff is just the rapid growth. Like you guys, last time I was chatting to you, you were at like 20 something employees. How many employees are you at right now?
So I think we're at 60 right now. We're just south of 60. So
that was like a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's insane. We signed a lease. Like, talk about great timing. We signed a lease on a new office space like March 10th or something like that, like March 12th, with the idea that it would last us like a year or two. And if we all go back now, we wouldn't even fit. So great investment, like in COVID and outgrowing it. We've got a nice space that no one's using, but yeah, it's growing like crazy. It's been a lot of fun.
So you see, like if I was watching this now, I'd be saying to myself, like, this is amazing. Like that's what gets me most excited is the fact that you're growing so fast. But I guess for you, Tanner, like being on the inside, what gets you most excited about being at Spiff and the future this next year?
So I mean, we're becoming, like I said, this isn't the right way to say it, but we're becoming a real company in the space, right? We're becoming a household name when it comes to commission automation and like sales software in general. And it's been a lot of fun to kind of see that happen. We're meeting the right people. We've built an incredible board of directors. We have an amazing advisory board. And just like the waves that we're seeing happen with Spiff and the way that we're able to like some of these deals that we've been signing and some of the publicity that we're getting and stuff, it's just been a lot of fun. It's been cool. I mean, I do like startups. I do like tech. I really like the role that I'm in now, right? So it might be different than what some people think is fun, but it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's been really rewarding to see where it's coming. And we did just hire like top of the class, like top class CMO, top class CRO. And we're just kind of trying to take it to that next level, which is really cool to watch.
That's awesome. On with the questions here. We've got Suzanne saying, are there both part-time and full-time positions available? I think you may have mentioned that earlier, but can you clarify there?
Yeah, so the only like kind of part-time position we have is some of our solutions architects. And the reason why I would say they're part-time isn't necessarily because they might require less hours. It's because it's very flexible hours. So most of these jobs have fairly flexible hours, right? But but for the most part, it's going to be full-time. On some of those, you could probably get away with less than full-time, depending on what you're assigned. But some of those are also more like a contract position where that would obviously be a little bit more part-time.
Love it. Noah asks, do your engineering positions require work experience or do you hire recent graduates? And I know this is always kind of like a big question for startups is do you only hire people with 10 plus years of experience, or do you start out with like a really young team and just kind of grow with them? Like what's Spiff's kind of methodology that way?
Yeah, so I mean, to boil it down, our methodology is we want to hire the best people, and we don't actually really care where we get that from. So like for us, like, do we hire recent graduates 100%? Like I was still finishing my senior year at UVU when we started Spiff. Like we're not shy from hiring people who don't have a ton of experience, but what we do want is like someone who's good at what they're doing, right? So a lot of our engineers didn't go to college, or at least didn't go to college to be engineers. A lot of like our CSMs went to school to be financial planners. Like there's just a lot that you can do there to position yourself in the right way. We care a lot more about who you are and how hard you're willing to work and what you're able to do today versus like what you've done in the past.
I love this. And it shows. I mean, the team is all super hard working, and everyone puts the work in to make Spiff successful. So it's exciting. This is awesome. While the questions are still rolling in here, we got a couple minutes left, and I guess can you talk a little bit about the culture at Spiff, like kind of work life balance, the types of activities that you guys do outside of show and tell, some of the other things that Spiff has to offer?
Yeah, so the team, like the biggest thing that we care about our culture is for people that are willing to work together, right? We have some people who are more confident. We have some people who are very introverted. It's a very good mix of people, but what we care about is that we get along. And that also that we're also willing to challenge and push each other to become better. So we're still a small enough startup where there's or a company where you're going to see some people who are working a lot, like just to be really honest there. Some people, but then also at the same time, we're getting big enough to where that's not a requirement, right? Not that it was ever a huge requirement. Some of us are just crazy and end up working a lot. But the culture is all about collaboration. It's all about like really trying to solve our customers' problem. I would just say we're a very customer centric culture where we care a lot about the customers. Like we just love, like, live and die by our G2 reviews, for example. Like the whole company gets, like, we all celebrate when we get a 5-star review. So it's fun to be a part of. We do have unlimited PTO, which is nice. And even though the stats show that you take less PTO when it's all when it's basically unlimited, we actually really push our employees to take time off. We just revamped our entire benefits system. So we have HSA contributions. We have really good benefits as far as health benefits go. We have some cool partnerships with groups around as well, working on things like gym reimbursement and all that. COVID obviously is a little bit putting some, like, hindering on that, but we did used to do a lot of, like, we would do a summer party and a winter party every year. And we actually had a hiking group. We have a mountain biking group. So it's just a fun group to be a part of. And I see that this question here around what the onboarding process is for new hires. It depends a lot on the team, right? Like we don't have a formal onboarding that everyone has to go to. We're actually working on finalizing that right now with a few consultants we brought on. But generally, you're going to spend some time shadowing. You're going to kind of get an idea for what the whole org is doing. And then obviously, like, equipment, systems, getting that all set up, and then just kind of working your way onto your full, depending on the job, your full workload.
Tanner, this is awesome. Such great information. And I think for anyone listening, like, why the heck wouldn't you apply to Spiff right now? So we have come up on time, but we would encourage you all to apply to the positions at Spiff. I think they're posted on Workable. So if you go to the Spiff website and navigate down to careers, you'll be able to find those job postings over there. But other than that, we just wanted to thank everyone for coming through and engaging. This has been such a fantastic chat and some really good questions coming through here. Tanner, thank you so much for sharing more about Spiff and the amazing opportunity to work there at the moment. We encourage you all to connect. Tanner has a profile on Mentally too, so if you navigate to the Mental button right here and then go and find his profile, you can request to chat to him that way. But otherwise, we thank you all for coming. We hope to see you at future events. And thank you so much, Tanner. We'll see you all later.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks. And thanks, everyone.